have a fire Wednesday? No, sir, next Tuesday. Oh, let's see here. Here it is. Thank you, sir. I put that in a nice, safe place where it won't get wet. Yes, put it in the bathtub. Hello? Here's a registered letter for George W. Johnson. I wonder if he's in. I'll knock. Stop that knocking. Here's the mail. Stop that knocking. Here's the letter. Oh, you better stop that knocking at my door. Let me in. Stop that knocking. Money for you. Stop that knocking. All right. Oh, you better stop that knocking at my door. Better come down. This letter's pretty heavy. Has the money left you? Yes, it left me long ago, and I've been short ever since. Ha-ha, but this is a money order. I didn't order any money, but if it's for Johnson, give it to me.
So, brother, where your poems at? How you gonna call yourself a revolutionary and you ain't got no poems? If you were really down with the struggle, you'd have your sandals and capris on, brother. Where your hair wrap? Where your sandals? Where your capri pants? What's going on?
Hello, my big music lover fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Liberation of Black Music podcast. I'm your musically inclined host, Kevaun, the music lover. So before we begin, I just want to say thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. We did another long-awaited game of this or that, and the subject was Michael Jackson. I had such an amazing and fun time playing with my great friends, Sienna, Jalil, and Malaya. So if you haven't tuned into that one yet, please make sure you do before or after this episode. Doesn't matter as long as you tune into it. Okay, all right. And I just want to thank you guys once again, and I love y'all down. Okay, all right. So today I want to go all the way back to the 1890s, where our freedom began, but our struggles remained. And this was brought about just by listening to some of my faves, like the Supremes, of course. Everyone knows me knows I love the Supremes, Michael Jackson, the Delphonics, and so much more. So I just thought to myself, who was the first black artist ever? Sure, we talked about Tommy Edwards in April, about him being the first black artist to reach number 1 on the Billboard chart. But before that, who was the one that paved the way for him to reach number 1 on that chart? And this is none other than the pioneer of black music himself, Mr. George W. Johnson. I honestly wanted to do an episode of him around this time last year, but that's when my computer screen broke and I ceased production liberation shortly after. And I actually talked a little bit about that on the Tommy Edwards episode too, so make sure you go ahead and tune into that one too if you want to. I mean, just go ahead and do it, because I feel like you should, And I felt this was a great way to end the year off, because I want everyone to see just how far we've come as black artists, musicians, and or producers. If I could be honest, I'm going to feel like a black arts history professor with this report, because I get to expand on topics such as racism in the lyrics, slight colorism, and the way American history has shaped us. So now that we got that out the way, grab a snack, drink, and or significant other, and let's discuss the history of Mr. George W. Johnson. Early life. George Washington Johnson was born on October 29, 1846 in Virginia in Loudoun County. He was born to a 13-year-old mother and a 15-year-old father who were both slaves. Their family was freed in 1853. George was raised near Wheatland as the companion and servant of a white farmer's son. During this time, he developed his musical ability and even learned how to read and write. This was illegal for a black child in Virginia to do so before the Civil War. He also grew up in the Reconstruction era, which dominated the legal, social, and political challenges of the abolition of slavery and integrating newly freed black people into society. Because of this, former Confederate states imposed poll taxes and literacy tests to control black people not to vote. I actually learned about literacy tests earlier this year, and it made me so upset because those tests literally set us up to fail. Like, it was so crazy. Child. But anyway, on to Mr. Johnson, because this is who this is about. George later worked as a laborer, and in his late 20s, he moved to New York City. Career moves. By the late 1870s, George earned his living as a street entertainer, specializing most in whistling. 20 years later, sometime between the months of January and May, George was recruited by 2 different regional phonograph distributors in search of a recording artist for their coin-operated machines. Charles Marshall of the New York Phonograph Company and Victor Emerson of the New Jersey Phonograph Company both heard George's performance in Manhattan, likely at the ferry terminals on the Hudson River. They invited him to record his loud but raggy, which is short for ragtime by the way, whistling on wax phonograph cylinders. So think of your vinyl player, but it has a big horn at the beginning of it. I can only imagine how heavy those things must have been. Anyway, the cylinders will be for a fee of 20 cents per 2-minute performance. One of his first recordings for the companies was a popular vaudeville novelty song entitled The Whistling Coon. Child. George also sung as he whistled in musical pitch.
I've seen in the time some very funny folks about the funny rhino. In the color in the big one. Well, I is black and the black road. You'll be talking to your child, but you never get the word. Very funny for your own food. The knock needs stop it, Johnny. But the rapping way
I know it's a little hard to make out the lyrics, so I'll repeat them in case you didn't understand. The lyric says, "Oh, I've seen in my time some very funny folks, but the funniest of all I know is a colored individual as sure as you're alive, as black as any black crow. You can talk until you're tired, but you'll never get a word from this very funny queer old coon. He's a knock-kneed, double-jointed, hunky-punky mook, but he's happy when he whistles in tune." Yeah, this is gonna be a lot. Shortly after, he recorded his second song, The Laughing Song. He also whistled and sang, but the most important factor was his laugh. It was a musical pitch, and there's something haunting about this one. Take a listen.
As I was coming around the corner, I heard some people say, "Here comes the dandy darky, here he comes this way. His heel is like a snowplow, his mouth is like a trap, and when he opens it gently, you will see a fearful gap that I laugh." I got Daddy from Larry. I got Daddy from Larry.
If you didn't catch that one also, he said, "As I was coming round the corner, I hear some people say, 'Here comes a dandy darky, here he comes this way. His heel is like a snowplop, and his mouth is like a trap. And when he opens it gently, you will see a fearful gap.' And then I laugh, ha 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 ha. I couldn't stop my laughing, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. I couldn't stop my laughing, ha 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 ha." If I had to guess, this song is about a black man's smile that is scary, and when white people see it, they're laughing at it. Let's just move on. Those 2 songs will become his famous ones. The Laughing Song went to number 1 for 10 weeks from April to June 1891, and The Whistling Coon went to number 1 for 5 weeks from July to August 1891. And by 1895, those 2 songs were the best-selling records in the U.S. In the early days of the music industry, every record was called a master. Master is short for master recording. It's the original recording that includes post-recording mixes and production edits. So just like you heard the producer say George's name in the song he's performing, that's what you would consider a master. And also just the, like the mixes, you can definitely tell is edited if you hear the whole song. So that's what you would consider those to be masters. Anyway, a singer with a strong voice could make 3 or more usable recordings at once. Many machines would run simultaneously with the recording horns pointed towards the singer's mouth. That's why George's recording sessions would be so long. He would have to sing the same song over and over again 50 or more times a day. Now, I know that we were freed in slavery back then, but that's still kind of slavery. I don't know. I think that's still a little slavery. I don't know. But despite this, George W. Johnson was the first black artist to appear on the pop charts, and his songs on the charts were the first to have been written by a black songwriter. The total sales of his wax cylinders between 1890 and 1895 have been estimated from 25,000 to 50,000. Even the New Jersey record company marketed George as a black man. This was somewhat revolutionary because this was the same era where America was segregated heavily by race. The Whistling Coon was even marketed as a light-hearted tune, but would be unacceptable today because of the lyrics and reference to a black man as a baboon. And that's in the second verse, by the way, if you ever want to see and listen to the song. It's definitely a song. George recorded continuously for the New York and New Jersey companies, and in 1891 he began recording for the parent company, the North American Phonograph Company. Fun fact, one of his recording sessions took place at Thomas Edison's laboratory in West Orange, New Jersey. George also made appearances in vaudeville shows. So vaudeville is basically a variety show, which includes musicians, singers, dancers, and most importantly, minstrel shows. Don't we love them? His act was singing his 2 famous songs, and it was enough to get him booked on the shows. In 1894, George recorded with Len Spencer, who was a vaudeville actor, and they made a show called The Merry Mailman, which is the soundbite I used at the beginning of this episode. They would remain friends until the end of George's life. In 1895, George made his first recordings on the new disc technology for Berliner gramophones. He also recorded for Edison Records, Columbia, the Victor Talking Machine Company, Bettinini, and numerous small cylinder and disc companies throughout the rest of the 1890s and up to 1910. Also, in 1895, he had a common-law wife who was a German woman, and we don't know her name. She was found dead in their apartment on West 39th Street. There were no charges filed against George. Despite that, 2 years later, George returned back to the studio and recorded 2 new songs entitled The Laughing Coon and The Whistling Girl.
We down south where I was born, I used to hoe and a weed that corn. On the school, walking through, do you hear me now? That's when we believe you tonight. Goodbye, that's when we believe you. Oh, goodbye, light and chain. I know a little lady that lives in our street, and when she's in music, she cannot keep up beat. I asked her if she'd marry me, and very soon I'll marry you, my dear. You tune without me, then soon.
I'm sad to say I could not decipher the lyrics for both songs. I couldn't find any, and I listened to the song enough times that I could only make out a few lyrics he sung. So, my apologies. In 1899, George had another common-law wife named Roskin Stewart, and on October 12, 1899, she was found beaten and unconscious in their apartment on West 41st Street. She was taken to the hospital and died a few hours later. George was tried for first-degree murder and found not guilty. My God. A decline in popularity. By 1905, George's popularity decreased. New recording technology enabled the production of thousands of duplicate records from a single master, and he was no longer needed to record individually. His friend, Len Spencer, hired him as an office doorman. He lived in his office building for several years and eventually moved back to Harlem. But something tragic would happen once he moved. On January 13, 1914, George passed away in New York City at the age of 67 years old. He contracted pneumonia and myocarditis. There were rumors he died in a racially motivated lynching, or he was hanged after the committed murder of his second wife. He was buried in an unmarked grave in Maple Grove Cemetery in Kew Gardens, Queens, New York. Legacy. In 2013, the Maple Grove Historical Preservation Society began a campaign to honor George. They received a grant from the Music Cares Foundation to put a plaque on his gravesite. Also in 2013, his 1896 recording of The Laughing Song was inducted into the Library of Congress's National Recording Registry. And on April 12, 2014, a century after his death, George was finally recognized in a ceremony including displays, presentations, and a performance by actor Larry Marshall, who impersonated him. And yes, he's black, by the way, I checked.
The Laughing Song by George W. Johnson.
George W. Johnson's legacy needs to be ingrained in every black artist's mind when it comes to music history. Because of him, we are able to go to a studio and or a stage to sing our hearts out. It's unfortunate his legacy was about self-deprecation, but it was a part of his time. Throughout different generations, the standard of black music has changed. We sing about our happiness, our sadness, our frustrations with the world. We can even brag about how much money we have, houses we bought, clothes we wear, and trips all over the world. But most importantly, we can finally sing about how simply wonderful it is to be black. So the next time you listen to your favorite black artist, let this episode serve as a reminder to think of the one that started it all for us. So let us thank Mr. George W. Johnson for his contributions to the music industry and for paving the way for black artists to express themselves in a better light now more than ever.
So now, kind friend, just listen to what I'm going to say. I've tried my best to please you with my simple little lay. And now whether you think it's funny or a quiet bit of chat, why, all I'm going to do is just go and with a laugh and then I laugh. I could not help from laughing. I got down here from Larry.
And on that note, my big music lover fans, is where we're going to wrap up this episode of the Liberation of Black Music Podcast. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode, to this show. I just wanted to do this episode. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this since last year, but just things have happened. And so I couldn't, but I'm so glad that it's out now. And my goal for this was not to down George W. Johnson for the music he made and for, all the things, because I know I was child and all this stuff, but it was also just to look at it and be like, wow, we really sung songs like this. And now we get to sing songs that really matters to us, that really showcase who we are, And so, but without George W. Johnson, we wouldn't be able to do this. So we all got to start somewhere. And so I want to say that George W. Johnson's legacy will never be forgotten. Just to think about the next time you listen to your favorite black artist, just think about that. Just be like, wow, we went from singing songs like this to singing songs about ourselves, about being happy and being free and just, all these things, So that was just my intention. That was my goal. I didn't want to, paint George W. Johnson just I'm just probably overthinking with this. But I want to just clear that up a little bit. Just letting y'all know, hey, look, this was a lot. This was this was the lyrics he was singing, but it doesn't mean that, it was bad. It was just a part of his time. It really was. And didn't make it right though, but it was a part of his time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and all the great things. So as I kind of hinted at the beginning of this episode, this will be the last episode of the year, of the season. Also too, I don't really do seasons anymore. If y'all can see, I don't really do seasons. When we began, it started out as we're doing season 1, season 2, but I just decided not to do that because no. So this is the last episode of the year. Because, honestly, I need one. I need a break from this show. And of course, just because I'm not posting does not mean I am not working on it, because I will come back. It will never be a time I'm not coming back. unless things happen, because things do happen, and that's okay, you know. But ultimately too, like, I just decided after this episode I'm not gonna do it anymore until next year. Also, it's starting to get cold now, and y'all know I recorded my episodes in my garage, and it's even cold right now this time, and I don't got time, so I'm just gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take a well needed, well rested, all the things break, and I hope you guys do as well, because you guys have been out here supporting and loving this show. I really truly appreciate it. Right now, when this episode drops, we're at 24 episodes, so that is amazing. And if you have not tuned into any of them, or if you're not tuned into like some you see that you're thinking about, go ahead and tune into them, okay? I also want to give a special shout out to the Black Art Spotlights we featured this year. We did Mr. Morgan Tyler, and we did Mr. Malik, my great friend. I wanted to do more, but things happened and all the things, but it's okay, because we're definitely gonna put out, and let me let y'all know something too. I have not forgot about y'all. I know that people in my DMs and in my comments are like, oh my god, I want to do an episode, I got y'all. I'm not forgetting about y'all. I see y'all doing y'all thing. I'm not forgetting about y'all, okay? Just time and place, okay? I got y'all coming on here. Just give me a moment. But at the same time, I'm very grateful, and it's great that there are people out here that do want to come on the show, that love what I do, that, you know, just all the things. It really means so much to me. So just thank y'all. And once again, thank you guys to Sienna Jalil Malaya for the last episode we did. We did another This or That game. It was so fun. I had the best time. Like, if y'all have not tuned into that episode, please do, because it was amazing. I had a great time. I really did. And my brother, Mr. Jalil Pack, he got a podcast. So if y'all like what y'all hearing him say, because he got great insight on that show too, y'all tune into his podcast called the JBY Podcast. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the places you go to do the things and listen to your podcast, okay? So I appreciate y'all so much. So I'm possibly gonna come back to record in March and then springtime, because child, like I said, it's gonna be cold and I don't got time. So I'm definitely thinking March, because last time I came back in April. So we're gonna come back in March, okay? Y'all like that? Period. So I'm gonna get off of here because it's cold and I'm gonna go. But I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for support. I truly mean it. Thank y'all so much for supporting. Thank y'all so much for being here. Y'all, we reached the 500 plays this year, and we almost at 600. So probably by the time this comes out, we'll probably be at 600. And that's so crazy to me. How dare y'all? But at the same time, thank y'all. Like, it's just, I have a lot of imposter syndrome. It's crazy. But I just love y'all, and I thank y'all for being here. Just all the things, like, really great. And also, if y'all don't know too, I did let go of my first podcast show, the Sunflower Garden Podcast, and I want to say thank y'all so much for y'all lovely messages and your comments about the show. I had a really fun time with it, but I just had to let it go because this show needs me more, and I really want to do more with this show. So I want to thank y'all so much for supporting this one, and we're still going to have elements of the garden on to this one, because without that show, this one wouldn't even exist. So it's never going to be like, oh, forget the garden, because it's not like that. Okay, all right. And so with that being said, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, because this will be out by the day before Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, a very Merry Christmas, a very wonderful Happy New Year, a beautiful Valentine's Day, and any other holidays that we will miss while we're not here. Okay? I love y'all so much. I thank y'all so much for being here. And as I always say, please continue to share this podcast with your friends, your family, or whoever decides to share cool stuff with, really, because this is truly what? A podcast for us, by us.